This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Well, good to have you with us here at noon. I'm Chris Burton. In developing news today, the search continues for a local business owner who was last seen on Tuesday. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is asking for help finding this man, 44-year-old Christian Gonzalez, owner of the downtown spot on 17th Street in downtown Bakersfield. Gonzalez was last seen around 4 a.m. on Tuesday on Monica Street near Pioneer Drive in East Bakersfield. A woman who works in the same space as Gonzalez says he and his wife are familiar faces in the area.
They're here from sunup to sundown, busy. You know, they cater to all of downtown area, the courthouse, the school district around the corner, everybody. We order practically every day, you know, probably twice a day. They're here working.
Deputies say Gonzalez is known to drive a white 2013 Toyota Tundra crew cab. If anyone has information about his whereabouts, they are asked to contact the Kern County Sheriff's Office at 861-3110 or the secret witness line at 322-4040. And Trevor Reed, the former Marine and Tehachapi grad, is back home on American soil. Reed was released early yesterday morning after nearly 3 years in a Russian jail. NBC News confirmed he landed in San Antonio just after midnight. The 30-year-old was released in a prisoner exchange with Russia when President Joe Biden commuted the sentence of a convicted Russian drug trafficker serving time in Connecticut. Reed was arrested in the summer of 2019 after Russian authorities said he assaulted an officer while being driven by police to a police station following a night of heavy drinking. Reed was later sentenced to 9 years in prison, though his family has maintained his innocence, and the U.S. government has described him as unjustly detained. And making news around the nation today, newly released audio recordings from after the January 6th riot are dividing Washington Republicans. In the audio, Bakersfield Congressman and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is heard warning of even more violence. Garrett Hake has reaction from the Capitol.
Top House Republican Kevin McCarthy under fire from some fellow lawmakers for leaked comments he made in the aftermath of January 6th, criticizing then-President Trump and some of his own members, including Florida's Matt Gaetz. Audio recordings released by the New York Times.
Well, he's putting people in jeopardy, and he doesn't need to be doing this. We saw what people would do in the Capitol, and these people came prepared with rope, with everything else.
Gaetz firing back. This is the behavior of weak men, not leaders. McCarthy also complaining on the January 10th call about incendiary tweets, including from Alabama's Barry Moore.
Can't they take their Twitter accounts away too?
In a closed-door meeting, McCarthy addressed his critics directly, and rank-and-file members appeared to rally around the man who could be their next speaker.
He got a standing ovation. He'll be speaker.
This is simply a distraction by the left.
In the recorded call, McCarthy also fretted over the possibility of more political violence if members didn't turn down their rhetoric.
Tension is too high. The country is too crazy. I do not want to look back and think we caused something or we missed something and someone got hurt. I don't want to play politics with any of that.
The remarks leading to renewed calls from January 6 committee members for McCarthy to testify.
I think he has a responsibility as, potentially soon to be the caretaker of the institution as speaker, to come in and say what he knows, to do it truthfully, and let history be the judge.
The most pivotal reaction to McCarthy's comments will come from one Republican who wasn't in the room, former President Donald Trump, who so far has remained in McCarthy's corner.
As Garrett Hake reporting, this morning President Joe Biden called on Congress for an additional $33 billion in military and humanitarian aid. Officials now anticipating the conflict in Ukraine to stretch for months. Included in that funding, $20 billion in military and security assistance. That includes weapons and ammunition sent directly to Ukraine and Eastern Europe, as well as money to replenish U.S. weapons stockpiles. The remainder would go towards humanitarian efforts at home and abroad, including an effort to increase U.S. crop production in the face of a global food shortage.
The cost of this fight is not cheap, but caving to aggression is going to be more costly if we allow it to happen. We either back Ukrainian people as they defend their country, or We stand by as the Russians continue their atrocities and aggression in Ukraine.
Biden said today, despite Russian rhetoric, the relief package was not an attack on Russia, but rather necessary aid to Ukrainians devastated by war. And around the world today, communities reflect on the atrocities of the Holocaust. 6 million Jews and millions of others murdered by the Nazi regime during World War II. It is an almost unfathomable number to consider, let alone memorialize. Rabbi Shmuel Schlanger, director of Chabad of Bakersfield and the grandson of Holocaust survivors, says truly meaningful remembrance only comes by moving forward, growing and learning from the horrors of the past.
We focus on letting our children, our young adults, know that this world is a garden and not a jungle.
Valuable education, he says, is the key to ensuring history doesn't repeat itself. And to illustrate that idea, Chabad of Bakersfield will soon unveil a memorial project more than a year in the making. 6 million buttons, one for every Jewish life taken in the Holocaust, will soon be the centerpiece of Chabad's backyard garden. While it's not ready to be unveiled to the public, Rabbi Schlanger says the center hopes to open it in the coming months. And to learn more about that project, send an email to info@chabadofbakersfield.com.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our Comprehensive Care Center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
And happening tomorrow, we are inviting you to unleash your love. KGET is teaming up with the Bakersfield SPCA to raise much-needed funds to renovate the Jennifer and Buck Owens puppy room at their shelter. This morning, Julie Johnson stopped by Sunrise to talk about how the community's help will make such a difference for them.
This year, we're focusing on the puppy room. So each year, we're really trying to take a block of the shelter and fix that. And, you know, it's been 23 years since the puppy room was done. So there's been a lot of puppies through there over the years. And puppies can do a lot of damage in that. I'm just saying.
If you've got a puppy, you know what she's talking about.
Yeah. So we're really excited this year to really focus on that and, you know, get some donations in to really help us rebuild that.
In your 17 Business Watch, the ongoing war in Ukraine will have long-term effects on the global economy. According to the World Bank, the war will result in high prices for commodities such as food and energy. The bank predicts these levels will remain high through 2024, which could stall economic growth and increase inflation. Economists say this would result in the largest price hike worldwide since the 1970s. And President Joe Biden is considering forgiving some student loan debt. During a private meeting with some House Democrats, the president expressed openness to forgiving student loan debt, although he didn't give a specific dollar amount or timeline. This prompted Senate Republicans to introduce legislation to stop the president from doing so by executive action. The cause has been reinforced by Democratic lawmakers and other progressive advocates who stress young people are struggling under more than $1.7 trillion in student debt and are in desperate need of relief. And check this out. A flyer emailed to our newsroom announces you can get free gas this Saturday. Starting at 10 a.m. at the 7-Eleven at 8th Street and Brundage Lane, the first 200 cars get $25 of free gas in their tanks. It is being put on by the Vibrant City Church. 4 new astronauts are now aboard the International Space Station after blasting into orbit early yesterday morning and taking a 16-hour flight up to the laboratory.
Just wanted to add how amazing the ride has been, and also how incredible it's been to get back to space station. It feels so incredibly familiar, and it's been so heartwarming to be welcomed by Crew 3 or by our Soyuz crewmates, and especially Crew 3. Our colleagues have been up with us this last few hours, getting a lot of work done with us as we are getting our space legs. So heartfelt thank you for this wonderful welcome.
A week after the new crew arrives, the 3 Americans and German they're replacing will return to Earth in their own SpaceX capsule. 3 Russians also live at the space station.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.